Voila. So good morning to you. So as I said, I just jump in the ocean. So I will need to move. So I hope you're ready to move. So let's separate the feet wider than the hips, not that wide, but just in between so that you're solid. And then just loose in the feet. So we don't want to be too solid in our feet for the moment. Loose in the knees, loose in the hips, loose in the shoulders, loose in the head. So let's just check it out a little bit. So just moving, maybe going slower, bigger movement, just loosening up and then starting to maybe bring in some choreography. It's freestyle. And then coming back to center. Leave the arms very loose and we're going to turn from one side to the other. So make sure that you lift your opposite heel, not to block the knee. So just let your arms flap from one side to the other. It's almost like tapping, which is a technique to release tension and pains, but it's not with those big movements, but imagine that. So just move one side to the other as slow, as fast as feels good for you. And then coming back to center. And let's just sway from side to side. So reaching the arms one side, the other side, and then make a big circle with your arms and then go back one. And then reaching up. One more time each side. So 1, 2, making a circle. If you don't follow what I'm doing, don't worry, go at what feels good for you and then coming back. Let's just move the arms back and forward. And then as you inhale, reach the arms up and bend your knees. And inhale, bend your knees. So we're keeping the head up, not falling down. Exhale. One more. Inhale and exhale. Keeping the hands onto the hips. We're going to sit a little bit lower. So don't worry if your knees are, if you can't see your toes. That's okay for now. And then come onto your toes. And then bring the heels back down. Toes and heels. Toes, heels down. Press into your feet and come back up. So this time your feet are as wide as your hips or even closer, whatever is more comfortable for you. And then inhale, reach the arms up, interlace your hands, turn the palms up. And we're gonna press our feet down, lift the hands up, take a deep breath in and then turn towards the right. So keeping the feet in place, keeping the hips as much as possible in place so that the knees don't get caught between hips and heels. Coming back to center, exhale, turn the palms towards you, change the way you interlace your fingers. Turn the palms back to the front. You can press your thumb together to create a little bit more work into the armpits. Take a big breath in, lengthen out as much as you can, press your heels down, and then turn towards the left. So every inhale, we lengthen. Every exhale, we go a little bit further. And then coming back to center. Release the arms and interlace your hands in the back. Roll the shoulders back, lengthen the arms. So see how far you can get. So it's not about pushing the hips forward, it's about opening the chest. So first start to lift your breastbone up, pull the arms down. Your neck is going to follow the curve of your spine. Lift your kneecaps, activate the quads. Maybe there's a little bit more weight into the heels, that is fine. Lift up a little bit more. And then release. So if you have a strap, take your strap now. So we want to have the full length of the strap and then bring it in the back. So basically, I'll just come a bit closer. You want your strap on your thumb, and then you hold it like this. Your strap is on your upper back, so make sure you can really pull on the strap. So don't open your arms for now. We're going to keep the arms really in one line. Take a breath in and then slowly pull the left arm down and right arm up. So keep on pulling between your two arms. Open the chest, and now start to bring your right arm a little bit more to the back. Pull onto that left arm. And then coming back and coming back to center. Going to the other side, so keeping that length between the hands. First start to pull on both sides and then pull the left arm back a little bit. And then coming back to center and release. So I hope your strap is long enough. So we're gonna bring the strap under your right foot, so under the cushion of your toes. And then hold just the strap with your arms. So if your strap is longer, you want to maybe grab it a little bit lower, but you don't want to necessarily go like this. If your strap is too short, don't use the strap then, otherwise you're going to be all bent over. So we're going to pull on the strap, and without using any muscles in our leg, we're going to start to lift our foot. So I'm not doing anything in my leg, but I have to stay balanced on my other leg. The only thing you can do is make sure that your toes don't go to the side or the other side, but that they stay pointing straight up. See how far you can go? Your elbows are going back. So if you don't have a strap, you're going to do it, and then you're going to work with your muscles, of course, because you don't have the strap. And then coming back. So you might find that as you do this, so change foot, left foot, strap under the ball mount of your toes. So relax first, like I'm totally relaxing my leg. I'm activating my right leg, my standing leg, and then lifting up. So you might find that you can lift much higher than normally because we're not using all the muscles. And then come back to center. Release. Keep your strap and bring it in the back. So this time we're gonna bring the hands as wide as your hips, hold on to your strap, and then roll the shoulders back, bring the elbows back and pull the arms down. Take a breath in and start to lift your arms, pulling on the strap. So you almost want to separate your hands, but you want to bring the shoulder blades together. Inhale, lift up. And then exhale, from the hip crease, straight legs, start to go forward. So lots of work in the shoulders, in the shoulder blades here. Push your hips back, lengthen your upper body, reach your heart forward, don't drop your shoulders. And then very slowly start to round your spine now, drop your head. See if you can lift your arms a little bit higher, but don't drop your shoulders. So you really want to keep those shoulder blades going together. And then slowly coming back up. Take the strap, bring the strap in the front. So same distance as we were just doing. Hold on to the strap, pull the strap, separate the strap. So you want to really pull onto the strap. My arms are super straight. And then push your shoulders forward. You should feel a big opening in the upper back. So I'm really using a lot of force here. And then very slowly starting to lift your arms. Very, very slowly. Lift up the arms. At a certain moment, you're going to roll the shoulders back and bring the shoulder blades down and continue pulling on the strap. Armpits are facing forward because of how you're holding onto the strap. And bring your arms behind your ears. It's not the ears in front of the arms. It's the arms behind your ears, opening up. Shoulders are back, shoulder blades are down. Take a breath in. From here, we're going to go to the side again. So move towards your left or your right side. It doesn't matter which side you start. Pull onto the strap. So with both arms, and you're going to feel maybe a little bit more opening into your armpit, your upper arm, your side, and then coming back to center. And let's go to the other side. So the upper arm is really pulling here. The lower arm is pulling almost as if you want to break your strap. Keep the arms going behind your ears. And then slowly coming back and release. So just shake it out. Maybe do some movements with your shoulders. And release. Let's bring the arms to the side. Turn the palms up. So as you turn your palms up, you should really feel the shoulders moving back, the shoulder blades moving down. Reach your fingers out as far as you can. And then bring the hands on to the shoulders. So bend your elbows. Start to open up your chest and start to make circles a few times. Inhaling and exhaling. And then changing direction. And then again, release. Keeping the feet where they are, we're going to go into our twist now. So if you can bring the big toes together, I would suggest it. As you bend your knees, you want to have your knees touching. So if you know that your knees are very sensitive, you might want to put a very small blanket or towel between your knees so that when you press, it's not bone on bone. So from here, bring the hands to the hips. And then start to bend your knees. This time, the knees are not coming forward. I'm bending my knees and I'm pushing my hips back. The weight is coming onto my heels. Go a little bit deeper. Go a little bit deeper. You should see your toes dancing as you look forward, as you look down. And then reach your arms up, roll the shoulders back. Maybe you can go a little bit deeper with this extra counterbalance, counterweight. And then bring the hands in front of your heart. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Activate your core for this. And then exhale, turn towards the right. Bring the left elbow on the outside of the right thigh. So that's the full pose is with the palms on top of each other. And then you press your elbow into your thigh into your elbow. Your right shoulder is moving back. Your thumbs eventually come in front of your breastbone. If this is too much, you can lower your left arm, maybe bring your right hand on the lower back or reach it up. If you're still like not feeling very stable, left hand on your right thigh, right hand on your lower back, and then you pull on your thigh with your hand. So know where you are today, opening up. Sit a little bit lower. Make sure, have a look at your knees, make sure your knees are parallel with each other. So open up. 2 more breaths here. And exhale, coming back. Inhale, press into your feet and coming all the way up. Exhaling. Arms alongside. So keep your feet where they are, very stable. Inhale, reach up, lengthen up, find that length, and then exhale, place your hands onto your hips. So keeping the length we just created. Inhale, and as you start to exhale, start to bend your knees. Push your hips back. Watch out, you don't curve your lower spine too much. So bring that tailbone a little bit more down to have a neutral spine. Inhale. Exhale. Reach the arms forward. Maybe press your hips a little bit more back. The toes are dancing. Exhale. Choose your expression of this pose. So hands can be in front of your heart, or you can place your right hand on your left thigh. Inhale, rotate towards the left. So my hips remain in place, my knees remain in place. I'm not pushing my hips towards the right. So keep your hips in place. So maybe you need to put your hand on your left thigh, your right hand on your left thigh. And then open up. Use your own body to find space. So press your elbow into your left leg and your left leg presses back. Open the left shoulder. Maybe you can look up. And then 2 more breaths here. And exhale, coming back. Press into your feet. Inhale. All the way up. And exhale. Shake it out. So we're going to use the wall for our warriors today. So you're going to put your mat, the edge of the mat against the wall. It's going to be much more stable. So make sure that your mat doesn't slip. So start which way is better for you to look at the screen if you need to look. I'm going to start with my right foot. So the outside of my right foot is against the wall. And then I'm going to take a step with my left foot. I'm putting my feet in warrior 2, just to find that support from the wall to start with. So walk your left foot as far out as you need to. And now start to really press the outside of your right foot into the wall. So as I'm doing this, observe what happens with your hip. Maybe your right hip falls forward. So we want the hips to be parallel. We want that right thigh to be really more to the back. So place your right hand onto your right hip and then move that hip back. The left knee, left toes are in one line. You can place your right hand on the fingertips against the wall and then slowly start to bend into your left knee. So adjust your stand if you're going deeper so that your heel and your knee are in one line. Maybe your elbow here is bent, so don't push yourself up. We want to still keep the shoulders above the hips. Now, really press the outside of your right foot into the wall. So the foot that's against the wall, you're going to really press the outside into the wall. And then watch out for that hip, that it doesn't fall forward. And then maybe go a little bit deeper. So don't push yourself off the wall. If you're not touching anymore, that's fine. Don't worry about it. The main thing is the support from the wall. And then reach your left arm up. So the front arm lift it up and go into your warrior 4. Maybe you can go a little bit deeper with the support of your right foot. Can you bend your left knee a little bit more? One more breath here. And then coming back, press into that foot, into the front foot and lengthen your leg. And let's change sides. So I'm going to show you my back. Don't take it personal. So left foot in against the wall. So the left outside foot. Right foot pointing towards the other side of the mat. So my heels are in one line. If you have a difficulty to put the heels in one line, bring the outside of the right foot next to your mat, and then the left foot, the left heel is also at the edge of your mat. So then you know that you're in one line with your heels. Again, press the outside of your left foot into the wall. You can place your left fingertips onto the wall, Right hand goes on your hip for the moment. Have a look at your left thigh. Is it falling forward? Is the hip falling forward? If it does, press your hip back. It's going to require some muscle. And then slowly start to bend your front knee. But the main energy is coming from your back leg. So press the outside of your back foot, your left foot, into the wall. And then you can reach your right arm forward. And now lift your right arm or your front arm, depending what side you're doing. Watch out for that back hip, that it doesn't fall forward. So it's a real opening of the hip. If you lower your tailbone a little bit, that can help too. That's very different for everybody. Maybe you can bend your front knee a little bit more. One more breath here. And then slowly coming up and lengthen and come back to the center. So you probably feel your legs a little bit more than when you don't use the wall. So now we're going to go into warrior one with the wall. So warrior one, you know that your back foot is pointed out about 60 degrees. So you're going to do the same thing here. Point your back foot 60 degrees. So your heel or the side of your heel is against the wall. And I'm talking right leg here. I just need to readjust here. So my right foot, right heel against the wall, left foot to the front. And then press your heel against the wall. So maybe you're going to have to come a little bit closer to the wall so that you can really feel the resistance from the wall. As you push, there is feedback from the wall. Strong right leg. Maybe walk your left foot a little bit more to the side so that your hips can be parallel with the front of the mat. They will never be 100% parallel because you have one leg in the back and one leg in the front. But we're working on a little bit of flexibility in the hips. So press your back heel. Push your knee back. So you really want to push your knee back. Lift the kneecap. And then with the force of your back leg, start to bend the front leg. You might feel different stretches than what you usually do. So when you really push the heel down into the wall, you probably feel that there is not so much movement of the heel lifting up. So you might not be able to go as much into your bend in the front leg. That's fine. Keep that back leg straight. Focus on the back leg for now. And then if you want, reach your arms up or in cactus or keep them on your hips. Inhale. So watch out for the lower back as we're pressing the heel into the wall. Sometimes we're going to curve in the lower back. So bring the tailbone down, press into the wall. And then release. Take a step forward. Inhale, exhale. Coming back. So left foot, left heel against the wall. Right foot pointing forward. Hips parallel with the front of the mat. Press the back heel into the wall. So what we're doing here is, it's a very different pose than a normal freestanding warrior one or warrior two. We're really trying to find strength, see where is weak between brackets, where is our weak point. When we come into a normal warrior one, we might not have the feedback that the wall is giving us. So you should always push with the back of your heel back as you go into warrior one. But how do we know? Now the wall is telling us. So if you're curious, if you want to explore your body, having feedback is a really good thing. So press your heel back and then start to bend your front knee. Maybe you need to make your stance shorter, maybe longer. Keep your hands on your hips for now. Find that stability into the back leg. Push your knee back, your back knee, push it back. Press your front foot down. Lots of muscles working here. And then if you want, you can reach your arms up or in cactus or keep them on your hips. Press the inside of your front foot down for stability. So the ball mount of your big toe of the front foot, and then press down into the wall. And then release and come back and shake it out. So a little bit different work today. Next one. So next one is going to be, first of all, we're going to go into a downward dog with the wall. So again, make sure your mat is not slipping. Come about 2/3 of the way on your mat. Come into your mountain pose. Take a breath in and a breath out. Inhale, reach the arms up. As you reach the arms up, pay attention to your shoulder blades. So bring the shoulder blades down, lift the kneecaps up, and then exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, bring the hands down. Now walk your feet back. And if you can, the toes remain on the floor and my heels are against the wall. So from my ball mount of my feet to my heels, it's against the wall. So adjust your feet. If your toes are quite stiff, walk your feet a little bit more forward and then rest your heels onto the walls and the toes on the mat. So find what's comfortable for you. Walk your hands maybe a little bit more forward. Bend your knees and start to lift your hips up. Come into downward dog with your upper body. And then very slowly start to lengthen your legs. So again, same thing always. If you have tight hamstrings, you want to keep your knees bent. So now, feet back from the wall. We're in downward dog, but with our heels lifted. So again, a different approach to downward dog. Press into your hands. See if you can lengthen the spine a little bit more. And now we're going to do something new. So if you need a break, please go into child pose. Otherwise, start to lift your left leg up. Walk your foot up the wall. So I'm on my toes against the wall, the sole side of my toes. And then press into your hands. So we're opening between the legs. And then come down with your right foot. We'll take a break because I can imagine for some it's a little bit much into the arms. So bring your arms to the back. Take a few breaths. And then bring your hands back to the front. Place your toes against. So for me, the ball mount of my toes is against the wall. My heels are against the wall and my toes are on my mat. But everybody's different here. So lift your hips up. Keep your knees bent to start. Maybe adjust your feet. One thing you have to watch is that your heels, that you cannot see your heels. So they're hidden between your ankles. Press yourself up with your hips and then bend the left leg, lift the left leg up, toes against the wall. So I'm pressing my toes against the wall. And as I'm doing this, I can bring my head a little bit more in between my shoulders, but my shoulders are wide. One more breath here. And then release. Come onto your knees. And go into child's pose for 3 or 4 breaths. So we're going to turn around towards the wall. This I think we have done before. So again, getting the feedback from the wall. So bring your knees as close as possible to the wall. And then you want to make sure that your hips can also push into the wall. So maybe it's your belly, maybe it's your pubic bone, but we want to have that feeling that we're really using the wall as our support. You can tuck or untuck your toes. It's really up to you, depending on how much stability you want. Roll the shoulders back. Bring the hands on the lowest part of your spine, so that bony part. So, and then the fingers are pointing down. Roll the shoulders back, lengthen the whole upper body, and then press your hips into the wall. Lower the tailbone down and start to go back. Keep on breathing. I suggest you look forward. Inhale, exhale, press into the wall. So lots of work into your quads as you do this. Again, that's the feedback from the wall. This is what you should feel when you do a camel pose, Ustrasana normally. Inhale, exhale. And then slowly coming back. Untuck your toes if they were tucked and sit on your heels. Reconnect with the breath. And now turn around. Come onto hands and knees. And we're just going to do 5 times cat and cow. So yesterday we did a variation where we reversed the breath. So I leave it up to you what you want to do. It's just to loosen the spine a little bit. So let's start inhaling. Imagine your spine is a wave rolling on and off the beach. That one vertebrae pushes the other one to move from your tailbone all the way to the place where the cervical spine and the skull touch. Keeping the arms strong, keeping the breath fluid. Have the breath guide your movement. And then after your 5 times, come back to a neutral spine. So we again are going to use the wall. So lengthen out your right leg. You want the whole sole of your foot to touch the floor. So, but your hips need to remain parallel with the short side of your mat. So you might want to have to adjust a little bit. So do a little test. Your hips should not lift. So your heel and your hip should remain in one line. When you found the distance, come back onto all 4. So take a breath in and a breath out. And then press your right foot back. So press your right foot into the wall. You're as if you were standing on the floor. So in Tadasana, your right hip might lift a little bit. So bring that right hip back down. You will have to engage your core to do that. And then bring your left arm forward, if that's okay for you. If that's too much, just keep both your hands onto the floor. But we want to feel the feedback. What is it doing? When I'm pressing my whole foot into the wall, especially the heel pushing back, my leg is active, my core is active. I'm reaching forward with my left hand if it's lifted. And then release. Bring the knee back, bring the hand back. Left leg goes back. So if you have one leg different length than the other, you might have to adjust your position. Maybe you need to look if my heel at the same height as my hip. Sometimes we think it is, and then it's much higher or much lower. So just have a look. And then press your foot into the floor, especially into the wall, especially your heel. Your whole leg is straight, your kneecap is lifting towards your hips. And then reach your right arm forward if that's accessible for you. Inhale, exhale. And then coming back and release. Let's sit with the legs to the front and bring your sacrum all the way against the wall. So I hope you can do this. Move the flesh from your buttocks away to the side so you can really sit onto your sitting bones. You can separate your feet a little bit. Your toes are pointing up, your knees are pointing up. Your legs are very active. Again, that same thing as if you were standing in Tadasana. So press your heels away. Maybe even your heels are going to lift because you're using so much power. Place your hands next to your hips. Roll the shoulders back. So maybe you have to push yourself away for a moment so you can roll the shoulders back, shoulder blades down, and then come back against the wall. And inhale, reach the arms up. So not everybody will reach the wall here. See if you can walk your hands a little bit higher. Palms are facing each other. Strong upper body, strong legs. Lots of work into the core as well. And here it's really the whole core, front and back and side. That's working. Lengthening and breathing, of course. Inhale. Exhale. 2 more breaths here. And then slowly lowering the hands without falling into our spine. Roll the shoulders back again. Now, fingertips are on the floor. I bend my elbows so I can push into the wall, rolling the shoulder back. Maybe bring your hands a little bit closer and then see if you can go forward. Watch out, the tendency will be to reach your head forward. So we just want to go and find the hip crease here. Find the hip crease. Maybe you can walk your hands up the wall and maybe push even a little bit further from the hip crease. So I'm not rounding the spine. I'm keeping my elbows pointing towards the wall. Take a breath in. Maybe you can grab your feet or your ankles. Maybe you want to grab the strap if it's in the vicinity. Inhale. So elbows are moving back. Maybe you can go a little bit deeper. Keeping the legs strong. If the lower back starts to hurt, you back off or you bend your knees. So inhale. And then slowly start to round the spine. Bring the head down. Again, watch out for the lower back. No tension. Feet are still flexed. The big toe points forward. The little toe points towards you. A lengthening on the inside of your legs. Keep on breathing. Bend your knees if it starts to hurt in your lower back or if your hamstrings are over solicited. And then place your hands next to your legs and walk your hands back. Again, my spine comes on the wall. My shoulders go back. My shoulder blades go down. And this time I'm bringing the soles of my feet together. So with the support of the wall, I'm going to bring my hands on the inside of the thigh. So my fingers are pointing in, my elbows are touching the wall, and then very gently, as you exhale, you can close your eyes for this. See how much we're holding into the hips. So first of all, find that length into your spine. So maybe walk yourself up with your back onto the wall. And then slowly starting to release in the hips. So we're holding a lot in the hips, and that's normal. The hips are very responsible. So they take it in, they take it in. But there can also a lot of tension being created in the hips. And when it's too much, it affects quite a lot of things in our body, including digestion, including posture, of course, including our whole mood. So let's take 3 more breaths here. See if you can release. You don't have to push too hard into your knees, but just very gently go with the release. No pain in the knees, absolutely not. And then release your hands, bring your hands on the outside of your knees and bring your feet, your knees together. So we're gonna end in Shavasana or legs up the wall. Since we're close to the wall, you can come in legs up the wall. So to go in legs up the wall, you're gonna bring one hip as close as possible towards the wall. So it's always easier to move back from the wall than to get closer to the wall. Your hands are behind you, so I'm leaning back a little bit, and then I'm gonna pivot on my tailbone or that area, and then bring your legs up. If you prefer to go in full Shavasana, you go. Your legs up the wall. Your legs should be straight, like no effort. All my muscles are on holidays now. But if you're too close to the wall for your hamstrings will be stretching, which is not the purpose. So then you're gonna have to wiggle yourself a little bit more to the back. If your knees are bent, there is an effort required eventually to hold it. So find that proper position for your legs. If you prefer, you can put your lower legs on a chair. And then your arms can be in Shavasana, or you can bring your hands on your belly. Some people like to put their arms in cactus. Really up to you. And stay very much with the sensations in your body now. What do you feel physically first? How is your breath? Is your breath changing as you stay here in this pose? And mentally, if you would stay here for a while, you probably feel that mentally you're gonna calm down. And if we can calm down mentally, we can look at emotions from a distance. So emotions have to move, their energy in motion. Sometimes when we can't take that distance of the emotions that are coming to us, they become very, very present, not pregnant, present. So they're stagnant. I was putting together 2 words. So make sure that emotions can always move. It's okay to have emotions. They come in, they happen, and then they have to move out again. So let's stay here for a couple more breaths, or as long as you need to and you can. And to come out, bend your knees, place your feet flat against the wall. Stay here for a little while, for a couple of breaths. And then roll over to one side and make your way to a comfortable seated position. So maybe finding that length from your spine when we're sitting against the wall. Maybe not, but find space, observe. Then bring the hands in front of the heart, gently tuck your chin. Thank you for being open to explore these practices together. And there is always something that we dislike or that we like very much. So liking very much is very easy. Disliking sometimes is, there's a hidden message. So every day, if you come to a pose that you don't like so much, forget about the apprehension and go into the pose as if it was the first time you did it. Wishing you all a wonderful day. Namaste.